When you do movies, do you just come up with a premise first? Like when you decide to do a
Yeah.
film, like if you decide to do Happy Gilmore,
Yeah.
how do you like make your movies? How do you start?
That was just lucky premise. Billy Madison, I remember. I thought, oh, this could be great. A grown up who does elementary school again. And that's a great idea of I get to be goofy, get to bully these little kids, then all of a sudden connect with these kids and have fun growing up again. So, but part of my head was like, well, Rodney did Back to School already, so everyone's going to say I just ripped off Back to School. Rodney went back to college. How the fuck do we kind of do it a step away from that? And I called my buddy Herlihy, who I went to college with, and he writes all the movies with me. He's just a great, funny man, and I've written almost everything with him. And if he goes, ooh, that's good, then we usually go from there, and we try to fill it out after that. Same thing with Happy Gilmore, Wedding Singer, Bobby Boucher, all that shit. We were just like, came up with a couple of lines of what we thought as an interesting idea, and then see if we can fill it out.
It's so funny because your films get loved by the public and hated by critics. It's so hilarious.
Yeah.
You are the lead. Like whatever the Rotten Tomatoes critic score is
Yes.
for your films means zero. It means nothing. It's
Right.
only the audience is what counts.
That's all we thought about. Yeah.
Because your films are all so fun and so silly and so, in my opinion, so underappreciated.
Thank you, man.
Because like this is one of the things that I thought about during COVID. It's like we watched it every night. We
so
watched
cool.
like every film that you made while everything was locked down.
Amazing. I love that. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know, man. We lucked out. We worked our asses off like you're working your ass off now. Like this is took it very serious.
But you caught like a silly groove
Yes,
that I don't
yes.
think anybody else has that silly groove like you do. Like you caught that groove with so many movies, man.
Yeah. We did. I mean, when I first started, Jim Carrey was crushing, Stiller, Mike Myers, a lot of goofy movies were getting made, and I certainly fucking love doing them. And I love being on set, making those kind of movies. I love fucking editing that shit, thinking about kids laughing. I always loved that. Thinking of college kids throwing a tape in, sitting down, watching together. That was on our mind when we did it.
When you first started out, did you want to be a comic? Did you want to be a stand-up comic, or did you always think that you wanted to do films?
I think I wanted to get into the movies. I was fucking nuts, cocky as shit in my own weird way. I think a big thing that happened to me was I told my friends in high school I was going to be fucking big. And I didn't.
So you had to?
I had to do it. I told the boys, I was like, I'm going to be fucking great. And then when I would check in with them, I remember being on payphones, calling after even eating it at Catch a Rising Star. I call them, I fucking did good tonight, probably. Yeah. I go, yeah. I said, what'd you say? I said, this Joe fucking killed. Meanwhile, I fucking ate it every time.
So you're faking it until you made it.
But I dug a hole for myself. Like, I'm doing great. Robin Williams said I was fantastic. Robin Williams, I remember one night saw me eat it. And I was just like, oh, man, I ate it in front of Robin Williams. But I changed the story of like, yeah, he liked that shit. Yeah.
There's something that could be very valuable about being delusional and being young.
Yes, very delusional. So stupid, man.
I did this thing once. Do you know Owen Smith?
Who the hell is
Hilarious comedian in L.A. But he had this. He's one of the best comics alive, but he spends a lot of time writing and doing shows.
I'm sure I know.
Unfortunately, which I think he should be headlining arenas. He was just at my club a few months back. I saw him. He's a monster.
Gotcha.
The point is, Owen had this show that he was doing for a while, where you'd find your oldest notebooks and sit down with him and go over your oldest jokes, and it was so bad. It was like a 1991 joke book.
Yeah.
I keep them all.
Yeah.
And I was going through, we were reading it, and I was like, it's so bad. I had in like built-in heckler lines that I wrote that were terrible, and this guy was saying this to me, and that. It's like, Oh,
That's so funny.
if
man.
I had to go back there and like give myself advice, I would say you got to quit. You're terrible at this.
Oh my God!
Don't do
yes.
this.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
man?
don't do
you
this.
Sound atrocious.
You're not gonna make it. You don't have it.
Same thing.
There's
yeah.
no way.
But I fucking thought I was fucking phenomenal. But I would look out at the crowd, not laughing, going, "These guys fucking nuts. They don't see how great this shit is." But it's almost like I was with my fucking giant afro, and my father would be at the table and he'd be like, "You need a haircut?" I'd be like, "What are you talking about, man?" He'd be like, "You think you look good?" I'd be like, "I look great." He'd be like, "You don't. Just so you know, you don't look great." I'd be like, "You were so off on that day."
It's funny. Delusional thinking can sometimes carry you to the like. Once you develop some skill, that delusional is like a little guardian.
Yeah,
that like keeps you protected while you actually develop talent.
And that goes away because I'm more nervous now. Well, I had that fucking fear as a comedian. My head would spin when Colin Quinn. He had a club, the Paper Moon, in the city. Was the Paper Moon around when you were growing up? It was like at the Boston Comedy Club.
Like a small place like that?
I think that became Paper Moon became the Boston.
Oh, the same club?
Yes, I think it was downstairs.
Oh,
that
no
one
shit.
So fucking Colin liked me. He used to get me on stage. I was going to college around there, and I all day long would be practicing on the elevator in my dorm. I'd be going bah, 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 saying the shit. Right when Colin would bring me up, my fucking head would spin. I'd forget where I was, not making sense. I would say 2 jokes, and then I'd be like, "Oh my God, I don't know what's coming next." And I had that going for a while, but I still would go home at night and go, "Fucking, I'm gonna be so fucking good at this." I don't know what it was. Psycho.
It's youthful delusion. Yeah, and it's also your central lobe is not fully formed yet. You don't even understand the world. You're a little meat puppet.
My God, yeah.
Yeah, but that's how you make it. That's how you make it in kind of everything. Like you're delusional, you know?
Yes.
If you really
to be had about what I call the new American values, which are lie, cheat, and steal, and get rich or get ahead. And these are values that we're teaching our children now. Not honesty, integrity, tell the truth, do unto others as you'd have done unto you, the golden rule. We're now showing them be a bully, lie, cheat, and steal, and you could be the biggest, highest paid baseball player of all time. Lie, cheat, and steal, and you could be the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Lie, cheat, and steal, and you two kids can be president of the United States. And I think this toxicity of the new American values is going to do damage for generations, and we're not going to be able to fully comprehend or understand or analyze the damage it's done for some time. And it was like after Clinton redefined what sex meant. And we were adults, you could laugh at it, but the truth is that he said oral sex wasn't sex.
Right.
Okay? And we saw the spike in sexually transmitted diseases among teenagers and young people, mostly through oral sex, because they said, "Oh, well, the president said."
Really?
That absolutely. Yeah, and that talk about a health. Yeah, it was a legitimate public health crisis. You saw following the Clinton Lewinsky scandal, you saw an increase in sexually transmitted diseases through oral sex amongst younger people, because the president. It's hard for us because we see the president right now as sort of a comic. You know, he's sort of he's a reality show president. We know it's bullshit, but. What do you tell kids? This is the president of the United States.
Is that what it was, or was it because there was so much discussion about him getting his dick sucked that more people wanted to suck dicks and get their dick sucked?
I think without question, obviously the size and scale of the coverage, unquestionably,
probably got people horny.
Well,
legitimately,
but people for a while, people thought, when I say people, I'm talking about younger people, developing minds, impressionable youths. Were under the impression that you could not get a sexually transmitted disease through something that wasn't sex. And the president reset those values. Just like this president, I feel, is recalibrating our values. And I think that's what's most, I mean, other than the potential of nuclear war, I think that is what is most dangerous and what could cause the most long-term damage from this is these new American values: lie, cheat, and steal.
Someone called me homophobic because I had an old tweet. This is from 2012.
Right.
You know, they dug up a bunch of tweets about me this week.
Okay.
And one of them from 2012 said, "Call me romantic, but I love it when I see gay couples that are so comfortable that they can kiss in public."
I saw this.
Yes.
Because didn't someone said that you were fetishizing gay people by...
Come on. That's hilarious. That was a legitimate tweet. I was probably high. I saw it because that's when I feel like warm and fuzzy. And I saw a gay couple make out. I think that was what it was. I mean, it was 8 fucking years ago. It's hard to remember. But
that's quite sweet. So you may as well have written "fucking fags." Like you may as well.
I might as well have.
Like,
but I was legitimately, it's weird, man. It's weird. The whole thing is very weird.
So,
but they could just call you homophobic for that. It's just so crazy.
Well, that's the other thing we could do is I hate using the phrase "call out," but how about we start calling out people who misuse those words, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're homophobic, you hate gay people.
Yeah.
You think it's nice that they can kiss openly in public. I mean,
there's no logic to it, but that's the thing. It's like you're arguing with someone who's they're it's like the idea that if you leave Islam, you could be killed, right?
Right.
This is what happens to
an apostate. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? That
Terrifying.
if you leave, it's so terrifying that someone can kill you.
Mm.
But that is the same kind of religious thinking, religious crazed ideology, adherence to the dogma, no matter what, that would allow someone to think that I could be homophobic by saying that I think it's great when gay guys are so comfortable they kiss in public.
Well, it's because they know you are in your mind. They do this incredible mind reading thing. That's what it's all about. They're all psychics. Did you know that? They're all psychics.
They don't care about reality.
They don't care about what's true.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's no need for reality in their world. If they've decided that you're a bigot, then they can use anything and everything against you, including pro-gay tweets.
They can use exactly. Let's think about it. They can use a pro-gay tweet to prove that you're homophobic.
It's
amazing,
but it's kind of good because it's so crazy that logical left-leaning people read that and they go, "What the fuck?" They
do,
and they go, "Come on, man!" And it's been positive for me, in a lot of ways that they're so over the top that, like I've had gay friends go, "Did I know you're homophobic?" I'm like, "I didn't know either."
Amazing.
Now I know.
But they know.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why they always turn most severely on people from the left who question this stuff. They really do, because they expect it from the right. I
think too, especially if you look like you should be on the right and you're on the left, which I definitely do.
Right.
It's like you could try to figure it out, but I think it all boils down to adherence. Strict adherence and compliance to dogma. And if you're not willing to comply 100% with the ideology, they'll attack you. So just like Martina Navratilova.
But that's why I think left and right is no longer helpful. I think it's about, that's why there are all these weird alliances going on now. I mean, I did this event recently with Peter Boghossian, who I know you've spoken to, and James Lindsay. And we were giving these talks at this event in London, and we were sitting there at lunch, and there was the head of the Atheist Society sitting next to this evangelical Christian pastor from America, and there were people of no faith and all faith and left and right, and it's like, but we all believe in liberty. Like ultimately, we all care about freedom and individual freedom, and that's the new fault line. It's not left against right. It's people who believe in liberty for the individual, or people who want more authority to control you, and that's the real conflict.
Well, if the right really wanted to bring more people over, what they would do is establish, like universally across the board, an appreciation for gay people, appreciation for gay marriage, an appreciation for the need to take impoverished communities and bring them up, an appreciation for welfare, an appreciation for, raising the minimum wage. If they just started a few things like that, good Lord, the amount of people that would jump off that fucking ship, that sinking ship of liberal ideas, because it's infested with rats. It's infested with rats that are chewing a hole in the very hull of the ship.
That happened in the UK. It was the Conservative government that pushed through gay marriage. Because actually, it's quite a conservative idea.
Yes. Get government out of your life.
Yeah.
Yes. So, it should be.
Well, maybe that's what they need to do. But I think definitely if you support the left, you need to try and dissuade the Democrats and the Labour Party from going woke. because they alienate all of their major...
They do, and they don't even realize they're doing it. But the problem is, in this country, there's no room for a third party.
Right.
People don't appreciate it or believe in it.
No, you don't have that option, do you?
Maybe they kind of do. Like Gary Johnson ran last year, and some people voted for him. But what's really happened in this country previously, historically, is that when someone charismatic came along that's an independent, they really just take votes away from the Democrats.
Yeah, so you split the vote, right?
Yeah, so the Republicans are pretty rigid. Well, actually, here's an example against that, though, is Ross Perot. He actually took votes away from the Republican, and that's why Bill Clinton got in office.
Right.
Bill Clinton actually won when Herbert Walker Bush was in his first term. So he only did one term, and then Bill Clinton won when Herbert Walker Bush was going for re-election. And the reason why he won rather, is because Ross Perot, who was this eccentric billionaire. Do you remember him?
No. No, sorry. I remember Ross Perot. Yeah.
He was an eccentric billionaire. Who,
independently, did
yes,
yeah.
independent. And he got on TV and bought an entire half hour of primetime television to show people how they're getting fucked by the Federal Reserve and taxes. And he was explaining, I had a pat here, take it all over there. So here's what you're going to do. They take you here and they get there. And he was doing all this shit. And everybody's like, what the fuck? And I remember everybody was all in a war. I voted for him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember.
Were you worried about splitting the vote, though? Or you did?
Nah, I was fucking 18. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I don't know how old I was. Well, I was older than that. I must have been 21.
But am I right in thinking, there isn't that much between the Democrats and the Republicans, is it? I mean, you don't have a real sort of left-wing, right-wing option. They're pretty similar on a lot of things, aren't they?
It depends on who you're talking to. You know, if there's a giant difference between Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders.
Right.
There's a giant difference. There's a lot of it is people are concerned with abortion rights. That's a giant one. And people are concerned with a Republican putting someone in the Supreme Court that is going to limit a woman's right to choose.
Right. So social issues, that's the way the difference really lies.
Those are big ones, and those are also big ones. Those pro-life people, they will not vote for someone who's not pro-life. And so if you get to a position where you are a Republican, you pretty much have to be pro-life.
Right.
If you want the group.
So those are the sticking points.
Yeah,
right?
because they and this is there's no judgment here, but this is their position is that you're killing a baby.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, I don't give a fuck about anything else. You can't kill a goddamn baby.
Right.
And so they're like, okay. And so many Republicans that maybe even have had abortions themselves,
they can't be open about that particular
They can't be
issue.
open about that.
I get it.
They have to hide it.
But this is why I think someone like Sanders is a genuine left-wing option, and why someone like Elizabeth Warren or someone who's pushing the woke thing, it will never be. That will be like electoral hemlock. I think it will just absolutely not work.
But they don't see that.
How do they not see it?
Because they're full of shit.
But how did they not see it happen last? Like Hillary Clinton was targeting all the various demographics, and she was splitting the electorate up, and and it didn't work.
Well,
how can they not see that this never works?
Have you ever known someone who's just a real liar, like a pathological liar? They make up a past. They make up things. They don't know that other people can't tell, or that other people can tell rather that they're not normal. They're not acting normal.
Right.
They don't seem genuine.
Okay.
Like there's certain aspects of people that it's hard to tell, but there's some people just don't seem genuine. And political people in particular, like when people are running for political office, that's when that shit really stands out. Because over and over and over again, you see them doing these speeches, and over and over again, you see them talking about things. And some people can sense it and some people can't, but they can't tell. When you're a liar, you can't tell how other people see you.
Right.
Because you're lying. Like, I know a guy. I'm going to be nice here.
Not name names or
No,
anything.
never. He's gay as fuck, but he doesn't think everybody knows it. He's
flamboyant, right?
He's gay. Everyone that I know knows he's gay.
Yeah.
And we all wish, but he's got a family. He's got like a wife and kids, and we're all speculating like, how's this guy get his rocks off? It's kind of crazy. But it's just one of those things. Like the man is a homosexual. I'm pretty sure. I mean, if I had a bet, I'm fucking pushing all my chips in.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right. And because of that, he acts in this really strange, because he's living this kind of lie of a life. He acts in this strange way, and I don't think he realizes that people know.
And you think a lot of these people go into politics, a lot of these sort of, they're kind of sociopathic, a lot of people who end up in there.
There's something about them. And so they have this fake earnestness to them.
Right.
And that fake earnestness will work. It will work if you're talking to 10,000 people. If you're talking to 10,000 people about the way we can come together as a country and we can take America back, there's no connection.
Yeah, but I always put that down to them having to follow a party line, or they're sloganizing. You know, they're throwing slogans out there.
There's a little of that.
I expect to kind of. This is why I'd never be a politician. I couldn't bear not to just say what I think. Like,
you can't be a politician. No, for sure.
Well, not after that.
The thing is, when someone's trying to be woke, what they're doing is it has nothing to do with being genuine. If someone's a woke politician, unless that's who they really are.
I think a lot of them are, though. I mean, like,
AOC, I think she really is.
AOC, Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah.
And I think they mean what they say.
Well, AOC is also, she's not even 30, right? She's a 29-year-old woman.
Right.
She's idealistic, and she's got these thoughts of the future, and she's, democratic socialist.
There was an article in The Spectator this week about this, like that there aren't really woke people. They're just sort of they're just sort of acting this out. I wish that were true, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
And I think Trump's being very smart whenever he sort of brings people like Ilhan Omar into the limelight, or focuses on AOC and focuses on them, because it means that you start thinking Democrat is woke.
Yes.
It sends that sort of message.
Yes.
And we know it just never works. And that's why I despair with the Labour Party and the way the Labour Party went. Like, I want to see a proper opposition. I want to see a proper left-wing party that cares about class issues, that cares about money, that cares about the poverty line, social mobility.
Yeah.
Not whether you're fucking whatever. Microaggressions or whatever.
Compassion for people that are trying to get by in this life, not social justice issues.
Yeah.
Not nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way most people feel. That really is.
Well, there's one thing that Bob talked about from some of the documents that he had been given when he was working at S4, was that they had actually taken a part in engineering human beings. And that is, to me, like, if you wanted to say, like, what's the thing that's going to get people to roll their eyes the most? Well, you would say, well, that the aliens came down here and they got a hold of the lower hominids and they accelerated the evolutionary process and they created human beings. A lot of people go, get the fuck out of here. That's crazy. But if you look at people, one of the weird things about people is how much we vary. We're so different. Like, not like any other animal, like other than dogs. And dogs are the way they are because we've fucked with them, because we manipulate them. We are the dogs of the rest of the world. If you really think about it, we're so different than every other primate. There's not even anything close to us. And I know there were some other human species, how do you say it, the Denovians, right? There's Neanderthals, Homo floresiensis, which was those little hobbit people. There'd have been a bunch of other humanoids, but nothing that came close to what we are. And if you look at ancient primates and us, the leap between them and us is so quick. The doubling of the human brain size over a period of 2 million years is just bonkers. Like, they don't know why. They don't know what happened. They have no idea. But if that really is what happened, if they said, listen, they're going to get there, but we can help. Like, let's just jump in, because these things, like, look, chimps are still chimps, right? They're still murdering each other. They're still tearing monkeys apart and eating them alive. They're still doing the same things they've been doing for thousands and thousands of years, whereas we're living in condominiums and watching cable. It's like whatever has happened to humans has happened. So the advancement is so unique. It's so different than any other animal. If we really have been visited since the beginning of time, since history, if all those biblical stories and all the stories from the Bhagavad Gita and all these ancient texts that do talk about vimanas and flying crafts and beings that come down from upon high, if all that really is aliens intervening with the biological evolution of human beings, how fucking weird are we?
Yeah.
If you think about how weird we are, period, maybe that would kind of explain it, that we're some stupid science experiment.
Well, people say, I want disclosure. I want to know. We're ready. We can handle it. Are you sure?
You can't handle the truth.
Are you sure you can handle it? Because we don't know exactly what it is that can be disclosed, but what if it turns out that we're an agricultural product, that we are being harvested for something, or we're being allowed to breed and kind of a science experiment? Let's see where this goes. And then when it's time to end the experiment, I mean, I'm not sure people can handle it. Look at how they've handled COVID.
Well, look, if you would think about if aliens coming down and interfering with weapon systems and interfering with nuclear launch codes and things along those lines, like if you think about the uptick in alien sightings and activity post Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that would kind of make sense. Like, all right, these fucking dickheads, they've gotten to a point where they can do some really crazy shit and they literally might ruin this whole thing.
They figured out how to light the match.
Like if you take this primate, this animal, and you embed it with the superior or at least more evolutionary advanced genetics, and you manipulate it to a point where you make it weaker but smarter, far more curious, and obsessed with innovation. You can just leave it there. Well, it's just a matter of time. Like, how much is that time? Is it 1,000 years? Is it 10,000 years? Over time, they're going to figure out some crazy shit because they're just going to keep working together like they do, and then, boom, bombs go off, and they're like, all right, we got a signal. These crazy fucks have figured out how to split the atom. We got to get down there and keep a closer eye on these people.
I'm open to that possibility of that being the case. I mean, it's
Not
weird.
the craziest idea.
No, there's crazier ones being put out today. Just
Look, the
social
Big
media.
Bang is the craziest idea, and we all
Right.
agree on that. That's the craziest thing. The whole universe came out of nothing.
Right.
Smaller than the head of a pin, instantaneously creates everything you see in the night sky. Okay.
The technology that shows up that may be reverse engineered or craft or bits and pieces. You know, I sometimes equate it with, we're aliens, let's throw a cell phone into a chimpanzee cage. Here, have at it. See how you do for a while. I don't know that we're ever going to figure this stuff out.
Well, more than that, it would be like, let's take a chimpanzee and let's manipulate its brain and leave him with a bunch of tools. You know, give it some things and see what it comes up with, and then come back and try again. I mean, maybe Neanderthal was like, well, you know, they're not going to get any further past this. Like this project, we need to scrap it. Start with something new. I don't think that's not. Look, we do weird shit to animals. I mean, we study them. I was just talking to a friend of mine about zoos, about how bummed out I was when I went to this wolf sanctuary because everybody's like, oh, it's amazing. You get to see these wolves that they've rescued. I got there, I saw a bunch of castrated wolves that were living in prison. I didn't think it was cool at all. It freaked me out. I got really depressed. I think what you look at what we're willing to do to chimps. I mean, I remember going to I forget, maybe it was Denver. I forget where it was, the zoo. But there was a zoo where there was this monkey that was in a cage that was screaming. Just scream like he was going crazy. It was a small cage, and people were walking around. He's like, "Wah!" And I was like, he's probably going mad. This is not how a monkey's supposed to live. They're supposed to be in the jungle, in the wild, you know, harvesting food and living with other monkeys. They're not supposed to be alone in a cage where these other weird primates walk by and stare at it, and it just overwhelms all of its defense systems and survival systems. We're willing to do that to things that we know are at least slightly intelligent. Like, what would be willing to do weirder, more advanced experiments to primates to create us?
And how do you tell a population, if you do study UFOs as the government and you find out, okay, shit, they're a craft and they're coming in, they're probably studying us. Like, how do you fucking tell people that? Like, how are people going to react? And the way that it's so compartmentalized, that's been the best proof to me as well. If I've talked to somebody who's worked on a project and they're like, all I saw was a supercapacitor in 1974, and I know this was not something we made. He was told nothing else. He just saw a technology that was more efficient than anything he had ever seen. So the idea that people are funneling this information, whoever is funneling it, and protecting this information, as we see how OSAP and ATIP didn't get special access permission, that's a special type of program. They knew about crash retrieval programs, so they said, we want to compare notes and information with other UFO projects. They were denied access.
Yeah, the door was slammed in their face when they tried to ask that. Senator Reid, who was Senate Majority Leader, had asked for permission to create it as an SAP, special access program, so they could get access to other goodies. And they said no.
Like other retrieval programs, material programs, stuff that Bob has talked about. So just the fact that it's so hidden, even within its own mechanism, that they won't allow this scientific team to work on this project, it tells me, as Robbie says, something's up. I mean, something's up.
Or the aliens land. I've been thinking the aliens are coming.
You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, another billionaire. I got a few billionaire buddies, and
look at you.
I know.
It's a good move.
I know, really.
Yeah.
I think I'm sucking up to them for a reason.
They'll tell you in advance what's about to happen.
Well, this guy, particular guy, is really, really, really smart, and he has no doubt in his mind whatsoever that aliens are dancing among us. And
I think he's right. Pass me the little baby cigars, Ron White. I love those things.
The white one or the dark one?
Are there different colors?
Well, there's this one.
Oh, that's not a cigar.
Right.
I know what the fuck that is.
That's a CDB. One
oh,
of those CDs that we were talking about earlier.
Give me some of that light. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm convinced. I'm 100% convinced. I used to be 60%.
And you were up to 100?
Yeah, I talked to Commander Fravor,
I was gonna
David
tell you
Fravor.
At one time in my life, I could do 75 push-ups, and I'm down to 3.
You can get back up to 75?
No, I don't.
I'll show you how.
All right. You got nothing else to do.
I've talked to people that have seen them. I talked to this one guy who was a pilot in the... Is he the Air Force or Navy? Navy pilot, I believe. Commander Fravor is in the Navy. And he encountered this thing that they call the Tic Tac UFO. This is an object that they tracked on radar that went from 60,000 feet to 1 foot above sea level in less than a second. They don't know how fast it did it because it was literally a blip in the radar. It went from 60,000 feet down to 1 feet. They have no idea how fast it moved. They have no idea how it did it. It shows no signs of propulsion. There's no heat, no exhaust signature. There's nothing that has any indication that it's acting in any way like in any propulsion system that we've ever observed before.
Right. Yeah. John was telling me to watch a show called Close
That's
Encounters.
it, Jamie. You just nailed it. Whatever it was, you just found it.
You just did it.
Oh, it's back again. There's a little, folks, if you hear, there's a little hum. There's a little strange audio hum that Jamie's trying to track down.
I think it's aliens.
We'll get this worked out.
Yeah.
We'll get it worked out.
I don't think anybody's going to care.
They might.
I don't think so.
So
Anyway,
if I had to give you a percentage of whether or not aliens are real, what's the percentage for you?
81.3.
That's a good number.
Yeah, 81.3.
That's likely.
Yeah, likely. I mean, how could it not be? You know,
Right.
how could it not be? I really don't even. It was kind of odd that he and I were talking about it, but he has a really nice plane, and he lives in Malibu and Austin. And so every time he moves from one city to the other, it happens to fit my schedule exactly right. So I'm like, that's weird. I was going to Beverly Hills today. How about I hop on the plane? Ron, I'm on it by myself. Come on, let's go. And
Nice.
so when he pops back down to Austin, even if it's just for a couple of days, I hop on. And I really enjoy this guy's mind. And I consider him a mentor in business and life.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, John Paul DeJoria. And but he just started talking about it.
I hear
one
nothing
day.
but good things about that guy.
God, he's the best.
I hear he's a fascinating dude.
Oh yeah. You know, if he would do your podcast, and I'm
Do you
sure
think he'd do it?
I think he would.
I would love to have him on.
He's a guy that started selling shampoo out of the trunk of his car, and sold Patron, I think last year for $5.1 billion, and still owns 60 other companies, including Paul Mitchell, which he started.
Here's the thing. At what point do you stop working when you're that guy?
Never. He never wants to stop. He never considers stopping. I was so shocked when he sold Patron because I just didn't think he ever would, because he doesn't need to sell it. And but for whatever reason he did, and And in fact, I said something that made him laugh really hard because he told me about it. He called me and told me. So I sold it to Bacardi for $5.1 billion, and I said, "Well, that sounds like a lot of money, but it sounds like more money when you realize the .1 is $100 million. That's like the biggest .1 there is, right? There is no .1 trillion. That doesn't even exist. It's a .1 billion is $100 million. But he said that to watch a show, which I never watched because I think he got an advanced copy of it, which was Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, is what it's called. And I looked it up, and it was coming on something, but it hadn't been on yet. So I think he just got an advanced copy of it. And he said that it'll take every single doubt out of your mind that's ever been there.
Wait a minute, isn't that a Stephen Greer movie?
No, that's Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
No, that's Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Steven somebody.
Stephen Greer is a guy we had on the podcast before.
Oh, that wrote the.
Yeah, he's a ufologist. Air quotes.
Okay.
Sideways face.
Right.
Skeptical hippo face.
Right. Blink monocle.
Yeah. There's a lot of fuckery in that UFO world. There's a lot of people that are making documentaries, and a lot of people that are. There's a real good one though about Bob Lazar, called Bob Lazar UFOs in Area 51. I think that's exactly the title of it, but it's by my friend Jeremy Corbell, and it's about this guy who was a physicist who worked at Area S4 in the Nevada desert,
right.
Back engineering this craft that the government had recovered. And immediately upon working there, realized, like, what in the fuck is this? Like, right away knew that this was no technology that we had currently available. I mean, this guy was he was a physicist, a nuclear physicist at Los Alamos Labs.
Right.
Worked on weapon systems and shit.
Yeah,
and
would know.
And got there and was like, what are you guys doing? Like, what is this? And they were basically explaining, like, these are recovered UFOs. And one of them, apparently, according to him, was very old. And that it was from some sort of an archaeological dig that they found. And the propulsion system that these things used was that they used this element called element 115 that wasn't even proven to actually exist until, I think it was 2013. They proved that it exists in a particle collider. But this guy was talking about in 1989, and he said that they had a stable supply. Is that your phone that keeps doing that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's weird dang.
Maybe that's the whole problem.
That's UFOs. But this documentary is fascinating because the propulsion system that he's describing is exactly the same that Commander Fravor had described in the TikTok UFO that they found off of. You just got to shut it so it doesn't make noise.
I just turned it off.
Did you?
Nobody needs me.
They do. I need you.
I'm irrelevant, dude.
You're not irrelevant.
Yeah.
No. Stop saying that. Anyway, the propulsion system that he described in 1989 is exactly the same propulsion system that they witnessed this TikTok UFO using in 2007 or whatever it was, that David Fravor had seen this thing off the coast of San Diego. So what those people that saw these crafts that were monitoring them in the military, they were saying they see these like every few months. They see these things, and they don't know what the fuck they are. They don't know what to do. They scramble jets to go watch them. They actively block their tracking systems, and then they disappear faster than you can look at it. Just take off. They have no idea what they are. They don't know where they're from. They don't know what they're doing. And then the Pentagon recently has come forth and released these statements, and one of them being that they've recovered crafts that are not of this world.
86.6. I'm up to 86.6.
Pass that letter. My little cigarillo went out of... Oh, no, I dropped some dirty tobacco juice in this fucking thing. I'm going to scoop that bad boy out of there. I'm going to keep drinking. But I'm in, dude. I'm like 95%.
You're down from 100, and I'm up to 86.
Yeah. I listen to my own bullshit, and I go,
right?
Dude, stop. You're about... I'm going to drink this with the ashes. I don't give a fuck.
Fuck, I got to turn my phone back on because I got to show you...
What you got to show me?
The pig.
UFOs?
No, the pig. The pig.
Whitney Cummings pig?
Whitney Cummings pig. I mean, there's no way you could possibly...
There it is. It's right there. Kapow.
There it is. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's Whitney Cummings pig. So
she was the first person to explain to me that those miniature pigs are not real.
No, right. Yeah, that's proof right there, right?
Yeah.
How little is that pig?
Well, they think they're miniature pigs because they starve them. So people buy this little tiny pig. They go, "Oh, this is a miniature, it's a teacup pig," and I go, "Oh, great."
Who
And then
wouldn't
you
want
feed
that?
it.
You know,
Yeah, you feed it,
right.
and it grows to be,
Alex Ramundo bought 3 of them, and he did. And he lived up in Palmdale, and eventually they just got out. And then every once in a while you'd see them. Now they have tusks and they weigh 450 pounds, and they're so this place.
Do they recognize him?
Let's finish the story we were on.
Which story? The UFO part?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
well,
then go back into the pigs.
the Bob Lazar documentary is a must-see.
I'm directing.
You should see it. Well, no, direct away. I love you. Do whatever you want. But the Bob Lazar documentary is a must-see. If you're curious and on the fence about UFOs, and I had that guy in here. I talked to him. He gave one of the first interviews that he's given in a long fucking time,
Right.
and I picked his brain for hours.
I'll go back and listen to it.
He didn't seem like a bullshit artist to me. There's some weird parts of it, but there's always going to be weird parts when you're talking about literally back engineering something that someone from another planet invented and using some technology that we don't understand. And one of the analogies that he had was, imagine if you brought a nuclear reactor to the 1400s and introduced it to them, which 1400s is nothing, 600 years ago.
Right.
In terms of the age of the universe, it's a fucking not even a blink of an eye.
I think we could just go back to 1800s.
1800s.
And
Show them a
they're
nuclear
going to be
reactor.
pretty surprised about a nuclear. Let's go to 1936.
Yeah,
Show them a nuclear reactor.
That was his analogy.
But yeah, I get it.
Like, this technology is technology. It's clear that they figured out how to manipulate this element and use it to bend gravity. Right. And that's the propulsion system. Instead of using something that pushes, like a fire that pushes against, the wind and pushes you in a certain direction, or a propeller that pulls you into a certain direction, instead of that, it bends gravity. And the way he described it is like if you put a massively heavy bowling ball in the center of a bed, right? And it just sunk everything into the bed. That's basically like a very crude description of what this element does. And with this reactor that they have on these spaceships, that it literally bends gravity around and allows you to just instantaneously jettison that ship into another position in the universe.
I'd say, stop, Joe. I'm getting a bloodletting. They're draining my blood into a bowl to cure something that I think I've got. What'd you say again?
Yeah. I think they've been here forever. I think they've been coming down here and observing us and waiting. And it also coincides with there's a giant jump in sightings right after the Manhattan Project.
Right.
So right after we started blowing up bombs, they were like, hey, these fucking monkeys have figured out some shit. Let's go visit them again. They probably got a news wire. They probably got a Google News alert on their phones. They're like, oh, Christ, look at these things. Look at these crazy monkeys. What have they done?
What have they done? Okay, 91. I'm up to 91. What are you down to?
I'm down to 50%. I'm worried about things.
I'm going to try to pull you out of it.
I'm always worried about things that I want to believe. If I want to believe it, I'm always skeptical.